Welcome to the Successful Life Podcast. I'm your host, Corey Berrier, and I'm here with my man, Dmitry Lipinskiy. What's up, brother?
Thank you for having me, brother. Living the dream.
Yeah, dude, I'm really excited to talk to you. I know I got to meet you for the first time last week at the conference, which was phenomenal. And I've seen you around for quite some time. You definitely stir up, you definitely stir up some things in the industry, which is pretty interesting. And look, it is what it is. I love that you call out people that are not good for the industry. Why the fuck do they keep doing that?
It's
Anyhow,
all good.
it's all good. Dimitri, for those folks that may not know who you are, just give us a quick background.
Absolutely. Grew up in Siberia, the coldest part of Russia. Came to the United States in 2005, chasing my dreams. Always wanted to be a teacher. Graduated college, major in theater. Wanted to be teacher of theater, working with the kids, and then went to university, major in history. So always saw myself teaching all my life, and I teach today. I teach roofers what to do, what not to do. But long story short, came to this country, figure out that roofer teachers don't get paid decent money anywhere in all countries. They don't get paid well in Canada, Russia, United States, or China. It's the hardest working people who always get underpaid. I'm like, I want to have kids. I want to have family. How do I support it? So the easiest jobs to get here in the United States as an immigrant who does not speak English was construction. So starting construction, hang siding, I've done like 10 trades, hang insulation, floors, tile, painting, work in cabinet shop for a year. So I worked with my hands for a decade, got married, ended up with 5 kids in Atlanta, Georgia. My started my first business in 2000. I want to say it was 11. Started my flooring company after the guy I used to work for filed bankruptcy. I came home. I said, "Babe, I'm never gonna work for anyone else." I worked for the guy for 2 years, and he lost it all. And I'm like, you know what? That guy is set me for this. If he would not file bankruptcy, I probably still would be an employee. I don't want to say I have employee mentality, but I'm a very good employee. Like I've never been fired in my life. If I quit a job, it's because I quit or I move out. I always give 2 weeks notice. Like perfect guy. One day, that guy actually who filed bankruptcy, he put us in the line. It was 5 guys in the crew. I was the only immigrant, and he said, "You 4 idiots are costing me money. Dmitry is the only one who makes me money because I get shit done. If you leave me on a job site, like on a remodeling project, and you say, Dmitry, you're gonna be doing this tile today, I will." I will do my best to manage my time to get it. If I tell you at 9 o'clock in the morning that this job will be done by 6 p.m., like it will be done by 6 p.m. I have this inner clock in me that if I promise homeowner, if I promise my boss that I will do this because it needs to be done, I will not leave. One time I was working on an insulation company and we were getting like $5-6 per bag, averaging like $70 a day, like the cheapest job, the dirtiest job I've ever done. It was in Atlanta, Georgia. And one day they have this fire at this church. So they rented this giant vacuums to suck in insulation from the attic because it absorbs the smoke and you have to suck it out, the blow insulation, and then you have to blow the new one in. So that was the job. That was the task. So we got there in the morning with the machine, and the boss told us, if you finish this job today, because to rent the equipment, it was so much money, I'm gonna pay both of you. It was 2 of us. I'll pay both of you $700. I've never made $700 a day in my life. I'm like, you got this. We finished 4 o'clock in the morning with a headlight on me, sucking freaking installation with a mask until 4 o'clock. I'm not going like you promise. Otherwise, it was 350. So he doubled my ticket if I stay overnight. I'm like, heck yeah, I'm making it. I have 2 babies at home. Anyways, I was always a good employee. I've never lost a job. But when my boss filed bankruptcy, I came home. I figured, what do I know? Looks like flooring guys making good money. I'm gonna start making floors. Went on the Craigslist, put an ad. 2 week special, $1 a square foot. I made first week doing floors $2,000. I'm like, this is easy. All I have to do is just sell myself. And like, you know how I worked my first couple of weeks in business, I would come to the homeowner. I knew I was cheap. I'm in dollar a foot, but I would do 1,000 square feet. So I still making $1,000, $500 average. So I come to the homeowner. I said, Mr. and Miss Smith, I work very hard. I start at 7 o'clock. I don't have time to take lunch. You'll have to go and bring me something. I don't care what it is. Just need some calories. I'm not smoker. I would drink 2 liters of Coke. So my diet wasn't healthy. I needed that sugar to keep me going. And typical construction diet, the homeowner would bring me lunch. And by 6, 7, 8 p.m., I'm getting this shit done. And I'm going home. I'm going to the next job. I was the cheapest guy, but I was getting paid the most. Started my business and never was the same. Never was the same. I'm like, selling jobs easy, advertising's easy, just hustle. There's so much work out there. Economy was shit when I started it back in 2011, 12. But with the prices today, I would be making like 5, 6,000 a week installing floors. That's how awesome buying power in this country is. You can install carpet, floors, painting, trim, cabinets, wherever you like. If you want to hustle, roofing, it's there. Wake up in the morning, go to the forest, kill something, drag it home, and cook it. It's there. You will eat what you kill. There's no excuses for anyone. My mom came to this country in 2015. The only skill that she has, cleaning homes. She raised 7 kids. 7 kids. She's been cooking and cleaning homes all her life. She comes here, start cleaning for another lady, and within a year, she's like, I'm gonna go on my own. Barely speaks English, never drove a car in her life, learned how to drive, passed the test, everything, and before you know it, she makes 2, 3 grand a week. 150, $200 per pop, 2, 3 homes per week, like with my sister. Like, insane. If you're hungry and you want to hustle, here's what I love about this country. We don't like beggars here. We don't like people who ask for money. Gas station anywhere, like give me $1. We hate that. But people in America, great tippers, and they rarely say no to the hustle. If I knock at your door, if I'm 12-year-old kid and I say, can I cut your grass? We respect it so much. We're like, of course you can. We just like, you want to work? I'll pay you. You want to do something for me and you're this awesome? You want to do something extra? Boom. If your friend calls you, say, I want to start a business doing this, we're going to start advertising for that guy because he has a dream and we want to support the dream. That's what I love about this country the most. Anything possible, anything you do, any business, people will support you as long as you work your ass off. That's a nutshell how I started.
And that's an interesting perspective because I don't think I know there's a lot of people that don't share that same perspective, and I can just relate it to I'm sober. I've had my struggles with alcohol and drugs, and so there comes a level of defeat when you've got to admit that you've got a problem and you've got to change it, and there's a lot of humility that you must have in order to do that. And I think that is what you're talking about here. You came from a country where sounds like it was probably miserable.
It was opportunity wasn't the same. It was miserable on different level. Like I was always grateful for what I have. Even we lived in a 1 bedroom apartment in the coldest place on earth, but it was depressing. I knew when I was 16 years old that I'm not going to spend the rest of my life here. I didn't want to grow my kids there. The money was all right later. You can make it anywhere. When I'm looking at Syria, Iran, I just came from Istanbul, Turkey. I'm like, could I live here? You can, if you work your ass off, you can live in a lot of places in the world. And you just, the secret to success is you just have to be content with what you have. Never compare yourself with anybody else. Just be happy. No matter, I was happy. Like I'm the same guy who was making $6 an hour, 18,000 a year, 30,000 a year, 100. Like how much you make does not define you, does not change thing in a great, like if you're not happy with 100,000 a year, you will not be happy with 500,000 a year. But we make decisions, we move to the better. If you have option, like when you're 16, 17, 18, you have to have that immigrant mentality, I call it, like where you have to shut one door to open another one. No one, like, who tells you that you have to live in this city, marry this girl, or from your, like, You make the decision. It's your free will. God gave us all free will. It's not, we're not slaves to anyone. You're not slave to your parents, to your society. If you have a dream, it's in you for a reason. If you want to be a number one basketball player, who can tell you like not to chase that dream? So I knew that I wanted to be in a warm country. I don't know how or what. We watch movies, like when we travel, our brain opens up. You don't know what you don't know. I remember for the first time ever, I took my wife to Mexico. Like I saved up some money, and babe, when we didn't have a honeymoon, we got married, like true honeymoon. Went to Disney, but I see all my friends are going to Mexico, and I'm like, what is this place, Mexico? And we went to Cancun, nothing fancy. I remember I spent $5,000 on that trip. I came changed man. I'm like, I want this. This is life. I did not know is this not like I did not know water can be this blue. The sky can be so like I grew up in freaking Siberia when it's dark at 3 p.m. It's depressing. It's physically depressing when you don't have enough oxygen in the air because it's 9 months, it's winter. My sister's birthday is June 27th. It's been snowing on one of her birthdays. Like I don't hate it. If I have to do business there, I'll do it. But if I have an option, if I have a dream, I'm gonna chase that dream.
So how would you think, listening to what you just said and being in that one bedroom apartment, a lot of people without any experience outside of there don't have the capacity to be able to visualize being in that warm place. What you mentioned when you said to Mexico, right? You couldn't really visualize what that water was like until you went and saw it. So being stuck in a place that's like you just described, I don't, how do you think that you got, I mean, how did you transform your mind or how did you think outside of the box enough
Sure.
to get out of that?
I say, I would say it's you have to take action on what you really want. I feel like we all have it, but we procrastinate. We don't take risk in personal business in all aspects of our life. Like we're living someone else's lives, right? It's I would say you have one life, one opportunity. Just a Eminem song, "Lose Yourself," is the best song ever. That's why it's intro to all my videos. Like if you have one chance, one opportunity to seize that's what it's all about. At a conference, Tommy Miles says back, he said, if not me, who? You have to ask yourself, why are you there? And who determines your future? You do. And if that's true, like if that's true today, you have to make a decision what you're going to do about it. It's one step at a time, but it's step in the right direction. I would say this. If you have a dream or a desire, it requires two things. Number one is a discipline, and number two is a focus. I'll give you an example. To go from Siberia, Russia to United States, there's like 10 different steps in between. So I had to actually found the path. I have to be a full-time student in my university, have to learn English, and I had to have some money in my pocket. So there's the programs like student exchange programs. So actually, I consider a couple countries, but you have to work visa. Like I think 70% of Russians don't have international passports, which requires to travel even to Europe. So 70% of people cannot even leave the country if they want to, because it's a process. Even to get that passport, it requires, right? So for me, it was 2 year goal. I sacrificed a lot. Like when I say a lot, it's a lot. Like I've been working. Get this: when I came to the United States, I have $200 to my name, but I'm a student, so I have side jobs. I would take in Russian rubles and buying dollars, $5, $10 at a time until I saved $200. It took me 2 years to save $200 from 2003 to 2005. I came in 2005. Then you have to learn, like when I started it, I did not speak one word of English. So it's not like, oh, I'm just going to go to the United States. It's I'm going to go to the United States. I'm not coming back. And if I die on the streets as bomb homeless, so be it, but I'm doing it. And every day I was learning 5 words of English because I did not, my English level was zero. At 20, zero English. 21, I'm in front of a ambassador, like in the embassy, to pass the interview. Broken English. What are you gonna do there? Why are you coming? Like typical questions. And I did it in English. And if I would fail my English interview, they would not accept me in the program. So like step number one, get in university. Step number, learn English. Step number three, qualify for this program. Step number four, go and then work your ass off here. Nothing is easy, but you have to, it's a sport. Life is a sport. You have to sacrifice. Every athlete knows it. If you want to be champion, you have to have a couple years of absolute sacrifice. There's things that you cannot eat. There's things you cannot drink. And there's a tons of stuff that you have to freaking do a lot of. And it's not easy. But you do that for 2, 3 years, the rest of your life, you live in the glory. It's a labor in years, and you have to accept it. When I left my country, I said to myself, so I was finishing second year on a 5-year university course. So the whole thing is 5 years. And after 2 years, I go here. And everybody's like, go there for summer, come back and go again. But you take risks because you're not guaranteed to get visa second time. And usually if you last year in university, they're not stupid. They're like, he's not coming back. There's nothing holding him back. And I'm like, why would I do that? So I told everyone, I'm going to spend 3 years in the United States as my studying years. After first 3 years, you're going to be graduating here. And I hope I will figure out what I'm going to do in my life there. So I treat first 3 years in the United States as a college to figure out what I'm going to do. And after 3 years, I figured it's going to be construction. I did not know it. I'm not a construction guy. I've never done construction in Russia. So I came here. I'm like, okay, money is here. I could become a truck driver. I could be chef at the restaurant, maybe do something else. Who knows? But I figured construction. And after 3 years, I have a profession and I was married and I started having kids. And that was my college. I treated first 3 years in the United States like, so you have to have a lot of discipline and clear focus the what it is that you want to do in life and just freaking go for it. And even today, if I want to become a lawyer today, I was telling my wife the other day, baby, if I want to become a lawyer, I still can become a lawyer. I'm 40 years old. She's like, I bet you can. I'll literally will go get a 3-year degree and you will know Dmitry Lipinskiy, the lawyer. Who's going to tell me no if that's what I want to do? Like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
If I want, or get this, if I actually, it's on my bucket list, I want to play a role in a Hollywood movie. And I know for a fact, if I would chase a dream to get into Hollywood, like really chase, forget about roofing, forget about construction. If I want to do that, no one would stop me. I would get it done.
So are you going to get it done?
I don't think I have desire. I don't think it's in front of me. I don't think I want it. Like I want to build $1 billion company, and that's what I'm doing right now. And I'll get that done. That's for sure. So I have a 10-year plan to build $1 billion company. So that's my goal number one. I don't think like playing a role in a movie excites me as much. Like I figure out Hollywood. Like I already know if I accomplish that, it's not gonna do much to me. Like the fame, the like what I'm like, oh look, I'm in this movie. Okay, great. Can I take a picture? I don't care. I don't think it's a big deal anymore.
So what would be fulfilling about getting to the $1 billion company mark? Because it's not the money, right? The money is part of it, but I don't believe that's really the underlying reason.
So I found my niche. So that like we don't have a household name in this category. So I found I'm a purpose driven, not a money driven person, and I have a purpose. Like in the roofing industry, the biggest problem was lead generation. If you ask contractor how to find leads, they're like angels list, maybe home advisors. So we don't have Uber, we don't have Facebook, like we don't have Airbnb that connects homeowners and contractors. We do have players, but we don't have the player. We don't have number one leader. And I know exactly what homeowner wants. I know exactly what contractor wants. And I'm like, why not me? I'll build it. I'll build it, the platform that I would use myself. That's truly good for the homeowner and truly good for the contractor, because there's none there right now that I would use personally. So I went to build it. And because it's mission driven. It's I would compare it to Elon Musk does a lot of it. Tesla, yeah, it's profitable, it's a big brand, but there's a mission behind it. There's the mission behind Starlink and SpaceX. There's a mission. It's not he's ambitious, not everything is working. Some he does his failures, Solars is one of them, but he has a mission. He's on a mission to fix the problem. I'm on a mission to fix the problem, and money just follows it.
So I know that you were in where Gary Vee was talking. Since you mentioned leads, I'm curious what your thoughts are on. I'm a big AI person. Like I use AI for a lot of stuff. What do you think about the shift in search going from Google or wherever now to chat or perplexity or any of the others that he named?
I'll compare it to YouTube algorithm, right? So I'm a firm believer that you can play the system, you can play your gimmicks or pay to play up to the certain point. Sooner or later, you're gonna fail. Sooner or later, someone with a better product will still race to the top. Like number one players in each category are there for a reason. Apple successful for a reason, Facebook successful for a reason. They doing something right. It's organic algorithm. So all the like Google, YouTube, they figure out, or again, they figure out what do people really want to watch. Like Mr. Beast is popular not because of AI and all of that, but because he figured what humans want, what do they engage the most and what, right? So for me, let's say I build my company directory.com and I want to compete with the home advisor or angels list. If I have a better product, better service, organically, I feel like companies, like anybody behind AI, will say that this is better, this is safer. You have to be in front of AI. I think we AI for me, it can be manipulated, it can be tweaked, it can be bought, right? Just go, think about this. Google recently during the elections. So we have Joe Rogan goes to a podcast, right? The whole story with Joe Rogan and Trump. So they go do this debate and they get like 40 million views within like first 48 hours and it's not in the search. Why? Because someone is suppressing it.
Right.
Like pure evil should not be happening. But that's what you get with companies like Google, and that's why we need something else. And I would wonder if you go to AI, like not biased AI, because what's AI? It's numbers don't lie. If you give it clear data, and people will always try to manipulate it, crooks will be crooks. Like what they're doing right now, when they, what government, bad governments are doing. So they buying chatbots, they trying to influence organic stuff. So you go to Facebook, you go to we're buying fake reviews, right? So we need AI to combat it, to suppress it. But because people, if you're Putin or Saudi sheikh who is corrupt and have $1 billion to spend, he's I want a public opinion to be this instead of that. Let's buy 1 million accounts, try to do it. But I feel like AI will be smart enough to suppress it and to balance it. So there's no way out of it. If you're a good player, if you're a good person with a good product, if you're the best in your category, I feel like AI will always make the best recommendation that and tell people, others, users, that you are the best. That's my opinion on AI.
Yeah. But do you see it changing how people are? Look,
Yeah.
I don't use Google to search anything anymore.
I still do because I'm a little bit behind on the trend, but I use ChatGPT 100%. It's old habits die hard, right? Once you used to do like you, but yeah, it's all building new habits. 5, 10 years from now, we'll be living in a different world. What I'm afraid of that we will have couple precedents to kill AI. And I think that's what they might try to do. Because if AI, like if someone comes in and does something stupid with the AI, and actually we already have a couple cases. I don't know if you've heard, but recently there was a case which is sickening. Boy committed suicide. So he was talking to AI, to this machine, like it was a he was chatting. It's like a psychology app. It was
Yeah.
his girlfriend, and she suggested, just go take your life, and he did. And then they discovered, oh, freaking this machine tell him to kill himself.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid few more incidents like that, and they're gonna ban it. They're gonna say, no, let's go back to Google, because information is dangerous. If you're trying to control minds, information, free information, is dangerous. The government does not like it. They want anything that they can control. So we'll see, but it's definitely changing. I'm a big believer in AI. I want AI to win. I want us to use it, but I don't want people to manipulate it.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any way around that because, as you said, there's going to be bad players in everything, right? It's people are just people are just people, and uh, people see opportunities that to yeah. Go ahead.
We will have lawmakers. We will build laws around it. What's legal, what's not legal. And if we see big danger, the punishment should be great. Like if you do something evil with AI, you should go to 20 years in prison, right? Like people should be afraid to touch, just like we do securities investments, right? So if we have such laws for wire fraud and this, like this is even more dangerous. If someone gets killed because you created some kind of algorithm, you should go to 20 years in prison. This is not as innocent as it sounds. If you program AI to do something evil, boom, we just have to regulate it. And I think that's the future.
So, so how much conversation, if I look at the roofing industry, they're a decade behind anybody else in technology. And that's not me talking shit about the roofing industry. It's just the facts are they're just really behind in technology. So is HVAC, plumbing. They're pretty far behind as well. What kind of conversations do you have around the people that you talk to around how they're using this, or are they using it, and what are they using it for?
I think the biggest problem that I see, not only, I want you to understand what the roofing industry is, what it consists of. So you have a lot of high school dropouts, college dropouts, people who were dropped in the roofing industry, not by desire, not because they dreamed of it. It was just like, okay, I'll do this because there's no other chances, right? So they were desperate. Now, with that, it's a hard work, it's a decent pay, so they're making money, and people are complacent. You don't need once you don't need a lot to survive in the United States, and that's general problem for a good capitalist country. Once your basic needs are met, how do you go from 50,000 to 500,000? So many people are happy, or it's not even that they're not happy. If you make 75,000, let me give you some numbers. So let's say typical roofer makes 80,000 a year, right? I make 80,000 a year. I have my sandwich in the morning from gas station, my Coke, my freaking some drinks, beer on a Friday. Now you have this tool in front of you. Everybody has cell phones with very powerful machines, computers. That's not a problem. But you have to make a choice, and it's a disciplined choice. Do I use it to entertain myself, to make my business better, to work a little bit harder, to double my income? Or do I want to scroll through TikTok and waste 3 hours tonight and
Mm.
drink a few beers, right? Because of the lack of education and your basic needs already met, do we blame them for not using technology? They work hard. And so it's a lack of discipline problem, lack of ambitions, and also because we live in this country, you're not starving. If you're gonna waste 20 hours a week and doing stupid shit on your phone, you're not gonna go bankrupt. You're not gonna lose your house. Government probably gonna bail you out anyway. Your student loan and you're behind your bills or wherever, you will be okay. You are protected from dumb decisions. And a lot of people living that life. So I think it's a lack of ambitions, because you know how they say that first generations build it, second build it, maintain it, and third generation like ruins it, right? So we're like the third, fourth generation. So if your parents or grandparents came to this country, because we're all immigrants here essentially, and they killed it and they worked their asses off, now you benefit in this great life, but now you're like, okay, I know this is not good for me, but I'll drink it. I know this not should not watch this, but it's okay. I know this is not healthy, right? And we just like settle because everybody else is. And it takes energy and effort. You need a wake up call. Something needs to happen for that roofer or whatever. If you've been at the conference, Tommy Mello says, I'm the one. Like, you have to be the one to change the family. I'm the one in my family. I know, like last night, I worked until 10, 11 o'clock, and I love it. Like, I sold it underlayment, like at the record, like 24 hours. I sold everything I have on hands. And then this morning I started like with a Wells Fargo call. I'm taking my kids to school and I'm like, kids, I'm sorry, I have to call Wells Fargo, figure this problem. 10-minute phone call, not a big deal. My kids are listening. I'm not listening to podcast or watching, some stupid stuff on YouTube. I'm doing business. My kids see it, but it's a choice. I have every excuse in the book not to do it, and I want to do it. So the problem is a little bit deeper. We don't use AI because we don't need it. We don't have ambition to triple our income.
Sometimes don't I think also there's it goes back to that desire to think outside of the box, to do anything extra, especially after a long day and you've worked and you've got all the things that you just mentioned. Why should they? Right? Well, why should I? If I'm that guy, why should I? Right? It's just easier to scroll through TikTok, and then you're locked in. TikTok's figured out. I don't even have TikTok on my phone because of that very reason, dude. Because it just sucks you in. I'm sure you've been there,
The
right?
drug,
And
all of them the same. X, Instagram, it's
yeah,
just switching apps to do the same thing.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So how do you mitigate that for yourself? Because you're on YouTube, you're on everywhere. But I think your mindset is this is a business tool. This is not this. I'm not here for any other reason than to grow my business.
I love that question. When you become a user, when you become creator, you consume content differently.
That's right.
When you like, if you love if you start like, okay, I analyze what you love, content you like. So you like a podcast, start a podcast. You will improve podcast game if you do one solid piece of content every single week. I'm just I'm I work hard, but I'm one of the most disciplined people you'll meet in your life. If I do something, I'll do it for the rest until it stops working. If I go to the gym every day, I go to the gym every day. If I produce 3, 4 solid YouTube videos per week, and then we do Instagram, TikToks, all of it, but I have a team for it now, right? But I have to still come up with a solid 3 videos. I'm not gonna, no matter what. I'll give you one example. I have a private group like 500, 600 contractors, and I drop 5 marketing videos every single week. I just have to. In the entire year, I might skip 2, maybe 3 weeks if I'm traveling out of country, whatever, but usually I record them. I was on a flight from Paris to Minneapolis, 11 o'clock flight. We have good Wi-Fi, and I have Delta One, so very big cabin. So I filmed all 5 videos from the plane on the first 2 hours, uploaded on Telegram, sent it to my video guy because I was coming in on Friday and we upload them by Monday. And they did 5 videos, they're like 5, 6 minutes per video. I did the whole programming. I could not do it in Turkey, it was too busy. I did it on a plane, uploaded it. My audience got it. And I loved it about this country. We have so many options. If you have, or I could take that 10-hour flight and just entertain yourself, like watch every movie. But now you do that. It took me like an hour, 10% of my flight time. They bring you food, you sleep, go, right? So you do that for 1 hour. And then I've been waiting. It took me longer to upload it because Wi-Fi is slower and upload like 25 minutes worth of content. It took me like 3 hours. But my guy got video by video within 3 hours. So half of my flight was that task. Once you start consuming, you will watch content differently. You will be like, how do they do it? How do I do it? Or I like that piece. I'll do my own version of it. Right? It changes you because now you're a creator. And if it's a drug, now you're creating this drug for others. And people will come back to you for more. And once you start doing, you build, it's all about building these habits. So you have a habit of consuming, start having a habit. I have a habit now when I come home, I have to research them. What absolutely inspires me is sometimes watch what my competitors doing, not steal from them or whatever, but I will go. So let's say there's a 4 websites, my website and my 3 competitors. And I will go every once in a while, like usually once in 3 months, and I'll see front pages, mine and everybody else. And I'll see, okay, why do they call it this way? And I call it this way. And I'll scroll and I'll see what I like, what I don't like. And then immediately I'm giving tasks to my team. Hey guys, here's the example of what I like. Please change. When you become ultimate consumer, you ultimate creator, you will consume differently. When I get notifications from apps, I'm like, oh, I like that language, look what they did, send it to my team, we should have this notification when people buy from us. When you always create stuff, when you consume, everything matters, everything becomes a case study. Every single day you look at the ads, you buy something, it's your customer experience, and then you can give this customer experience to your customers if you think about it. So you have to ask yourself, am I a consumer or am I a creator? If you're a creator, you will consume differently.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I totally agree. I look at content very differently, and I look. It's like my. I don't have a huge YouTube channel, but I upload a bunch of shorts to it, and I always try to figure out why a certain one did well, why a certain one didn't do well. Was it the time of day? Was it the music I put behind it? Was it what? There's a whole gambit of reasons why things work and why they don't work, but it's just the mindset of looking at it that way and trying to analyze and figure out what made it work. And you probably have, obviously you've got a much better grasp on what makes it work and what doesn't. Um, but it takes time. It takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of discipline to continue putting out, for lack of a better term, shitty content because it takes, how long did you put out content before it ever took off? Just curious.
Couple years. I mean, for the first 3, I did not monetize channel or anything related to the channel for the first 3 years. So I had 30,000 subscribers after 3 years, and I'm like, you know what? I'm bringing way too much value for a couple brands because I've been promoting everybody for free. And I remember I came to the very first sponsor of the channel and say, hey, I know you got hundreds and hundreds of clients from me. Would you mind giving me like 5K a month? Keep doing it, but on a more professional level and be official listed. So within 3 months, I got 13 partners. And so it was good, but you have to do like what people the biggest mistake people make with the content, they start monetizing too early. You start doing the first podcast, oh, this is brought to you by this, and here's our sponsors. You're scamming everyone.
Yeah.
Like you don't have you have 20 views.
Yes.
Why are you taking money from anyone? Like what value do you bring to them?
You haven't
Build
earned it.
yourself first.
Yeah. You haven't earned it. You haven't earned the right to ask for monetization at that point.
Build the audience where everybody starts from zero.
Right.
Okay. And then be yourself and see what creating community, creating content creates community. Once you have community, once you have people, now they say that it takes at least 1,000 loyal followers to make it a legit business in whatever you do. So if you have 1,000, it's enough to quit whatever you do and do this full time. And then it just improves. And then you're gonna have team if you do big podcasts and you're gonna have video guys. We have 2 full-time videographers, 2 full-time graphic designers. I have a script writer. People don't realize, but it's not just me. Like my payroll is like $10,000, $12,000 a week just to create content that doesn't even pay the bills, like news. Like, yeah, it takes money.
For sure. Yeah. And it takes a lot of, as you mentioned before, discipline and consistency. Consistency is vastly important here. Uh, and have you found that how many videos compared to now? You said you were putting out about 3 a week. How did you start it out? Was it more? Was it less?
I wasn't as consistent, but I was putting every week. So I would say we've done 2 videos per week minimum. I probably had weeks where I only have one early on. Just so for me, it's if it's news, if it's something time sensitive, I'll do more. I do feel like less is more. I'll take it back. You can post every day. You can post twice a day as long as it's relevant and it's consistent. Now, the challenge is people get used to you, and if information is not like we have so many options. Nobody follows no one when it's I love Gary Vee, but I cannot watch Gary Vee every day. I love so many like we don't have any creator will watch every day because it gets it's people when people say that they watch all my videos, I feel bad for them. I'm like, how can you I cannot watch anyone, right? Like we get tired. So you have to respect attention span of your viewers.
Yeah.
So if you provide now the reason with the scripted videos, like I do news, my news is like 12 minutes. It takes me 3 days to prepare. It takes me like 30-40 minutes just to film and then do a 12-minute episode. But every new I was watching today one news like 40-50 seconds. You have a picture that someone created, you have a script someone wrote, you have quick take. I can say share that news in 5 minutes. Like here's the new right, but who has the time? Respect my time. Like I watch news like boom, let's go. You go on YouTube, it's like you have option to watch this new news for 5 minutes or 30 minutes. Which one are you gonna click? 5 minutes, right? Shorter.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of guys they don't respect anyone's time. You know, if I start watching you and you driving in a car and it takes you 3-4 minutes just get into the topic, you already lost me. I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck you. Like I click on it because and you still like waiting for the people to come in and this and I'm like, you think no, get to the point, and that's what I'm trying to get better at.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I think I don't know if this is still the accurate or not, but it's got to be pretty close. You think about when you're scrolling through whatever platform, it's about 3 seconds and maybe less than that now. If you don't, if I don't catch your eye in that first 3 seconds, you're moving on, just like I'm going to move on, just like you're going to move on. And so, but people got to realize that in that first 3 seconds is when everything, that determines whether people are going to stay or not.
Especially with the shorter content, like you can get their attention. And the thing is, shorter content, I'll say this, it's cheating, it's deceiving, it feeds your ego. So if you created short clip and you got 1 million views and you think you're a big deal, you need a humbling lesson because you're no one. Every time I have a video that goes viral, like 5 million views, 10 million views, who cares? That will never bring you business. The only thing that matters is the watch time and conversions. So I'll have 1,000 views per video and I might have 10 orders and you can have 10 million. And do you think those
Zero
10
orders.
Pakistan or India will actually remember you or whatever? No, it's attention span just not there. It's
Yeah.
nothing.
Well, and you got to think if you've got 10 million views, as what it does obviously feed the ego, but that just means that 99.9% of those people are probably not even your customers to begin with. I don't know if it's 99%, but a good portion, they're not your customers. So it doesn't really equate to dollars at all.
Yep.
Yeah. Man, I really appreciate you sharing that. And I know we're getting close on time. So if somebody wants to reach out to you, what's the best way to do that, Dmitry?
Any social media, I give my phone number to everyone. If you, here's what I would say. I'm gonna share my number if it's okay. That's probably gonna be the straightest point. I want to help anyone who's trying to, like, especially we made a lot of talk about the podcast. If you want to start a podcast, if you want to start a show and you just don't know how to, you can text me. It's 612-558-4881, 612-558-4881. I do like my best program. It's called mymarketingfitness.com. So that's my best program. I pour my heart into it. Every Monday I do Zoom calls. I do 5 videos per week for my guys, and it's always what works on social media, what works on YouTube, what works on Google. For me, marketing is fitness. That's why I call it mymarketingfitness.com, because you have to go to the gym every single day. You just have to, right? But you're not gonna do the chest exercise every single time. So like, for me, Monday is a Facebook day, Tuesday is a Google day, Wednesday is a video day. But you have to find a partner. So today I'm doing Facebook with this guy. So when I interview people for marketing fitness program, I ask the same 5 questions. It's like, hey, Martin Pettigrew, Monarch Roofing, here's what they do on social media. And it's almost like working out with that person. Oh, this is how they advertise. I'll try that. But your business will die if you don't advertise. And my job is I'm looking what works for me, how I'm being sold, and this is how I sell. And it's constantly changing. Like market is changing. It's never the same. Like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Google, they have so many updates. If you sleep on it for 1 month, you will be behind. If you don't work out for 1 month, you will be fat. So don't be fat. You can join mymarketingfitness.com. Join me every Monday. See my videos daily, work out with me, do marketing with me. That's my best program.
Love it. I appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, brother.
You
Appreciate
got
you.
it. Yes, sir.